Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Coming to you almost live from the 8 Points Gate in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, it's the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 137. It's November 27th, and I'm your host, Bill. Hey, did my battle tome change before I opened it? Castello, and with me?
All the way from the Slopper and the Great Gut Fort, it's Joshua. I didn't think I could eat that. Alt.
Oh, yes, you could. So that might harken out to what we're doing today. We are going to talk about Path to Glory for the Ogres and the Slaves to Darkness.
Yeah, as foretold.
Yes.
Right? Also known as AF, right? We're going to talk about these. We're both pretty excited for these two books, and we're going to dive in and, feast on things and praise the Chaos Gods.
Yeah, I mean, these are two solid entries into the stable, and really looking forward to covering them off. And of course, we split them up as usual, but also today we're going to be covering a whole raft of new stuff, mostly because, we did take some time off.
Oh, yeah.
It's been almost a month since we recorded. Apologize for that, but Josh had a trial, which he won.
Yeah.
And he had a birthday. Happy birthday, Josh.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, Bill was so kind to give me a Sagittor, so I'm pretty close to finishing up my first leagues list that I want to run. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And I'll touch a bit on my trial here in battle, but then maybe talk a little bit more after dark.
Okay.
So that way y'all can get a little taste of what it's like to try a homicide trial.
Yeah. Oh boy, I can. At the same time, I can imagine. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The amount of work that goes into preparing, and then when you're there, everything can change. Anyway, we'll get to it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, want to throw a shout out to John Waters at our local store, our community. His display board for Armies on Parade, his Army on Parade was just bonkers, and he won easily.
Yeah, no, and it was literally Armies on Parade. He had Stormcast
Yes.
versus Slaves to Darkness, and he had the Dragons versus Archaon himself. It was one of the most impressive. And he 3D printed like an entire castle. The battle was insane. So
the backdrop was, the board itself was half of what sold it to me.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was an inspiring piece. And now, he's always got the bug for Armies on Parade. So
yeah.
He already started making like little dioramas again. And
he's getting ready for next year. And I'm like, oh my God, John, you are nuts. But yeah, he's great. He's great. Good guy. And a good win, a popular win.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Also want to call out issue number 482 of The White Dwarf. Yes, folks, we're in the tank for GW. Shut up.
Yeah.
This is a really good issue. It's got a little something for everybody. And, most of their issues lately have been like that, where they try to at least have an article or two about every system. This one doesn't have Blood Bowl, but everything else is pretty much in there. And then the amount of stuff that they just print and give you on cardstock, you have a Necromunda weapons reference sheet. You've got a 30K reference sheet for all the changes they've made to the weapons so far. They have a sheet of cards that you can pop out for Gnarl Spirit Pack, Sons of Elmorn, and some new cards to replace. And then you have a whole bunch of Kill Team cards in there, plus one of their little, we need some fillers, so we put a paint card, which actually those little paint cards they're doing are not bad.
No, it's actually a really good filler.
And I really wish, they have a little spot for you to put the paint, a little dab of the paint, and then what you did with it. And it's super simple, and if it gets you into writing down your recipe so that you can go back a year from now and add something to your army, that's awesome.
Yeah, right. When you put down an army for 6 months and you're like, what did I do with that again?
Yeah, I'll get into this in creation, but, I did some mechs in Battletech like freaking years ago, and I wanted to redo that. And I'm like, I have no idea what I used. I have to just guess and hope that I did it right. Good idea there. And then they have a little thing. They have an article in there for if you play Warcry and you want to make one of those cool little holders for your dice and markers and what have you, an indicator for your doubles, triples, quads.
Yeah.
And, it's got all the guide. There's a tiny little article in there about how to glue it to the foam core, how to cut it all out so that it works as a nice little holder for your dice. So it's actually, and lest I forget, inside each one of them is a little thing for GOG to get all kinds of different games from Gladius, Battlefleet Gothic, let me see, DACA Squadron, which, wow, that was not good, but Chaos Gate, Man of War, Talisman, you name it, a whole bunch of older 40K properties, as well as something we'll get into later.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's here. But that'll be after dark, I think.
Yeah,
or, I don't know, whatever.
My body was ready, and I was taken in a manly way.
Yeah.
More after dark.
Nice.
All right. I mean, let's
jump into New Dawn.
we got a ways to go on this. So certainly we're going to get more into this later on. But of course, the Ogor Mawtribes and the Slaves to Darkness dropped. So stoked about this. Two of my favorite armies. Slaves is always super interesting to me. Need a bit of an update, but now you got like crazy cool new like sculpts for things with the new Chaos Warriors. You know, with the Chaos, is it the Chosen? Yeah, the Chosen that are just freight trains.
Yes.
Dear Lord. If you stack the right buffs on them, they're melting whenever they touch.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Ogors. So fun. Like,
oh God.
And kind of, I guess, both of our overall take on both these books is that they're fair, right?
Yes.
Like you might say middle of the road. They have some powerful units and powerful combos that people are likely going to pilot to some wins, such as your quad iron blaster lists and stuff like that. But overall, I mean, they're just fun. Like you get the army that you wanted. Yes. Right?
The flexibility is there. I don't think either one of these books is going to cause the world to go, well, there's another OP book for you. No, these are actually, I think they've reined in the power creep a little bit.
Yeah.
If you will. And they're just super simplified, flexible. They're very 3.0.
Yeah.
Duh. Who knew? But super. When we get into the slaves, just the changes to how the marks work is worth the price of the book.
Yeah.
Period. So.
Yeah, I mean, hands down, both of these books could be their own shows and hours at length, particularly Slaves, because that is a nuanced book.
Yes.
From everything that I've seen so far. And Ogors, well, I mean, they are what they are, but there's certainly a lot of talk about different play with different units. And what Bill and I were talking about before the show is that it seems that the book opened up units, right? So you don't have just this is the only thing you're ever going to take, otherwise you lose, right?
Yeah.
There's some play there, like the changes to Meat Fist, for example, was just so good.
Yes.
Gluttons are powerful now. Like before they were just giant pillows you set in front of your damaging units.
Yeah.
Now they do things. So it's great development. So pretty excited about those. Again, as we talk about the Path to Glory, of course, we necessarily will talk about some of the changes to the book.
Yep. We have to give a little overview of the book, otherwise it makes no sense.
And then after that, well, the Christmas boxes.
Yay!
Dropped. So,
Happy Christmas!
Woohoo! So, my high level view, I'm going to give my hot take on this. If you don't have one of these armies and you want to start one of these armies, this is probably the best start collecting or Vanguard style box you could ever get, because you're going to get your big hero and a smattering of just essential units. If you already have the army, you've probably developed them up enough. You're like, well, I don't really need another Mortarion. But they do have some play for those who are like, I've been really sitting on, Thousand Suns. Now I really want Magnus, but I didn't want to just get him. This is a way to get in the door, right? So I guess we'll kind of split it up a little bit. Do you want 40K or AOS, Bill?
We should probably just alternate through them.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So the first one is Adeptus Sororitas, the Sanctorum Guard. Morven Val's in that box.
Yeah.
A lot of good basic units. Overall, like I said, if you don't have the army and you want to get into it, boy, that's a deal.
God, super good deal.
Then the Adeptus Custodes actually is the one I'm eyeing right now. Like it's such an elite army, you don't need that many models. And that box is practically everything you need for at least, 1,000, 1,500 points.
Yeah.
Like the only thing you have from there is just trying to augment what else you would like, such as, well, I want more bikes because there's only 3 in the box, right? Or I want more Terminators because there's only 3 in the box. But, I mean, you get Trajan Valoris, you get, I think, 3 units of the basic troops, you get, 3 bikes. Like, it is, if you want to do Custodes, you practically have your army in one purchase.
Yeah, and if you just want to flip a new army, this one goes pretty, I think this is like 1,400 some odd points.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're not going to need a heck of a lot beyond this box.
Not at all.
To have something to put on the table and see if, they're your style. I mean, this is, face it, Custodes is the elitist of the elite armies. So, they're sons of Behemoth, but painted gold.
I have to say, if you want to make some money too, like Custodes is definitely one of those armies that like a lot of people want, but like I don't know if I want to get it. If you buy the box and paint it with, frankly, one of the simplest paint schemes that exists, you can make some serious cash off that box.
Yes.
No doubt. And it's, again, one of the easiest ones to paint, especially compared to literally everything else on this list. Gold, red, some power weapons, a little shade, and we're good to go.
Yeah, you're talking about 2 or 3 videos, and you're on your way to a very sellable paint scheme. Yeah. I don't know if you watch Squidmar, but he did a video a couple of days back about painting Henry Cavill's dream army. Oh my God, those guys! I love them. All right, so next up you have the Adeptus Mechanicus Elimination Mana Poll. I'm not going to say what I have for a comment in the script because, if you like Adeptus Mechanicus, don't buy this box.
Yeah.
If you are just wanting to get into them, great box to buy.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you are into Adeptus, you've already got this.
Yeah.
Don't sweat it. Imperial Knights, my comment there was ROFLMAO. I'm not sure what that means, but so yeah, if you've never done Imperial Knights, grab the box. If you're doing Imperial Knights, this is a walk away.
Yeah, I mean, this is where if you want to bring stuff in for kit bashing purposes, or you want to get some of that stuff for converting for your Chaos Knights.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
We're not taking away from any of the value of these boxes.
No,
it's just that if you're already into these armies, these boxes aren't for you. So
I think we can kind of do the next 2 at the same time.
Yeah.
You have Death Guard and Thousand Suns. You have Mortarion and Magnus, respectively, in those boxes. And it is what it is. I mean, that's really just going to be our comment through everything.
Yeah, that really is a deal, though. When you think about it, getting the major player for those is really, really good. And that even someone that's been into it, like you said, but hadn't quite popped for Mortarion, nothing in this box is going to leave you going, well, I wish I hadn't gotten that. So if you needed those 2 characters, the Magnus or the Mortarion, these are great boxes because the extras that you get are worth. I mean, when you look at Mortarion and Magnus, they're going to approach the price of these boxes. So a lot of the other stuff you're getting is free. So.
Oh, yeah, totally. And if you're in a situation like I am where my wife wants to, for some reason, be masochistic and paint Mortarion again.
Sure.
Getting that box might be okay because then I can just fold the other stuff into my army and she can paint Morty.
Yeah. The next 2 boxes, Imperial Fists and Raven Guard. So the Bastion Strike Force for Imp Fists and Raven Guard. Again, if these are something you want to explore, phenomenal boxes. If you play Space Marines, you've got all of this stuff in spades. So
100%.
Yeah.
They're themey, which is cool.
Sure.
But then again, it's Imp Fists and Raven Guard, unless that's like a call out to like, hey guys, guess who's getting their Codex supplements finally.
And I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but I'd be certainly jazzed to see that Raven Guard get a little update, get a little tweak here and there.
Yeah, I still don't see White Scars though, so I don't care.
Yeah. So now the AOS boxes, the cool stuff. And again, the overarching thing here is if you're already doing these armies, not a lot of value here. If you want to experiment, these are phenomenally good boxes. I actually have kind of looked at the Skaven box because my wife plays Skaven, but those are hers. And, division of spoils, I guess, if you will. I'd like to have some of my own to do up in my way.
Yeah.
So who knows? But anyway, starting out, we have the Daughters of Cain, Cainite Slaughter Coven. It's actually pretty good, even if you've been into Daughters for a while. Mostly because some of the units you get are harder to obtain, and the value is there. So the Coven is the throne is bonkers good. Auric War. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Auric War Clans, the Cruel Boys, Swamp Lurkers. Yeah. Cruel
know.
Boys are kind of in a spot right now. I mean, they're super techie to start, and I don't think that techiness really gave them too much of an advantage. So I haven't, frankly, seen them played that much. The few people I have seen play them, played them for a couple games, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go back to my son's army or, my other army that does a little bit better. Like, I don't know, the other two Auric War Clans in the book.
They have a really interesting shtick. It just doesn't translate all that well on the table.
Yeah.
And it becomes more of a pain in the butt than it does a fun game mechanic. So I think they'll get worked.
And probably my favorite AOS one is the Gloomspite Gits, Stampeding Squigalanche. Now, hey, the one thing you could say about Gits is that they don't have too many named characters.
Yeah.
And so you can grab some value out of that. Plus, well, I mean, as we'll talk about a little bit later, the Battle Tome is on its way. So this could be a good prelude, and I'm hoping that they do something a little different for the Squigs instead of like random movement.
Yeah. Just looking at, when we get to the preview, we'll talk about that, but they need some help, and I think it's on the way, and it's on the way shortly.
Yep.
So if you've been on the fence about Gloomspite, this is probably something you want to grab. Next up is Skaven the Verminous Host. Again, super good value, and if you're not into them, this is a phenomenal box. If you are already doing Skaven, pass. So
this is certainly leaning more towards Pestilence. I mean, you're getting 40 Plague Monks in the box.
Yeah.
So if that's kind of what you've been eyeing is, I really like making people feel sick and having a bunch of stabby rats that get stabbier, then this is pretty decent.
Yes.
It's a lot of models.
Yes.
Like you have 60 on the battle line alone.
Yeah.
Right. So, if you like, painting up a bunch of little guys like that, get ready because they're coming for you.
Yes. The value is in that box. Same thing with the Night Haunt box, the Legion of Grief. This is kind of a redo, but you get a black coach, which, some people may not have popped for yet. God, nothing in there is useless, but oh my gosh. Whew, what a good box. The Sylvaneth. Oh my God. Another Drycha box. Yeah. Oh,
Drycha plus Revenants. Oh.
But you get 2 Tree Lords, which can be built as Tree Lord. Okay. Yeah. Again, when you have a limited number of units in the army, there's only so much you can do.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah. But, with everything else they're doing, why don't you just shove a Lariel into the box and change it up?
There's some things that could have gone into that box, I think, that might have been. But I think with the recent drop of the new Battle Tome, I'm thinking maybe some of those they don't have enough sprues on hand maybe to fill all these boxes.
Fair enough.
So I don't, this is just me brainstorming. I don't know. And then last but not least, this has to be the flag waving carrier of the entire set. It's more Stormcast Eternals, more things that you just don't need.
Well, it comes with dragons.
Yeah, 2 dragons. So
why not just buy 2 dragons? Yeah, no, I get it, but but they always have a Stormcast box. They always have 1 or 2 Space Marines boxes. So,
and again, if you've got some of the base sets, and so you've just got a few Stormcast here and there, getting this box is really going to put you into an army, full up army. And it's not bad. It's I know we're dogging it, but that's just because you dog Stormcast. It's what you do. But it's good. It's a fun box. You're gonna get some Vindicators. You're gonna get Dragons and Vindicators, and not Vindictors, and some Annihilators. So really, you've got all the little bases covered, if you will. So yeah, it'll be fun, especially if you're really wanting to. You got maybe one of the box sets, and you want to move up and beef that force up. Boom, good box.
There you go.
So those are the Christmas boxes. Again, if you're just wanting to try those armies, these are awesome boxes. If you're already into them, not so much, but that's a given. That is a given. There's no box they could put out that would hit everyone.
Yeah.
This very weekend, as we speak, the finals are going on not 40 miles from here.
Correct.
That means the 40K finals, the AOS finals, and a big narrative 40K event. Just gonga big stuff. And of course, because it's the finals, it's the big end of the US Open series, there was a preview show.
Yeah. I felt like they, made this preview show just for me because it has everything that I love.
Really? I thought it was complete junk. I thought this whole thing was... Okay, anyhow, so I'm sure you would like to start off with the first announcement.
Oh, yes, the 40K World Eaters. Oh, God.
Oh,
yeah.
My God.
It's a huge reveal in terms of the new models coming down. I mean, the Lord on Juggy, we already knew that they were going to be a generic option, for Lord, was it Invictus or whatever it was. These new 8-bound are insane looking. Yeah. They are so corn.
Oh, wow. I looked at those and I was like, I have wondered all my 40K life how it is these Space Marines, these Chaos Space Marines who have been so morphed over so long could actually still be squeezed into that old Space Marine armor. And these guys are the answer to that. They actually look like they ripped their old armor apart and made it useful. And they're all, helmetless. They're all like, yeah, no, we don't need that. We don't care.
Yeah, we got the nails pumping into our brains.
Yeah,
they look fantastic.
Video, oh my God. Ugh.
I mean, just the storyline behind him being, 8 blood letters bound into a single Space Marine who... So they're possessed is what they are. They're Corn possessed, and they have 2 forms, which is the 8-bound and the Exalted 8-bound.
Yeah.
And that'll determine, I suppose, sort of modeling stuff and likely certain power abilities they may have. Yep. But all the weapons look fantastic on them.
Well, they're all melee. So none
melee.
Of these even have like a pistol. These guys have, and even the guy on the preview show was like, these guys are all melee. They don't have ranged, but they are the best combat unit in the game.
Exactly.
So huzzah.
Yeah. And alongside that, oh God, these look amazing. The Jackals.
Holy crap. Okay. So cultists on steroids, exponentially improved from the old ones. Holy.
Yeah, and they're like literally have these like blood packs strapped to their back that no doubt is pumping some type of rage into them.
Well, he said each one of those packs had 3 drops of 8-bound blood.
There you go.
So I would imagine that there's a mechanism where those guys can get really beefy for a turn, maybe 3, and probably pay a significant price to turn after. So the leader of it is actually pretty special because he's significantly larger than the others. And someone made a comment, and I'd be really interested to see if it's true, but they said it looks like a Space Marine that's been stripped of their armor. Yeah.
And because they're carrying around this massive sword and this huge ball and chain, sort of akin to what you might see from the Slaughter Priest from AOS. Yeah. And the model looks amazing. And it's on a larger base. It's actually on a 32 mil, like a Space Marine would be, compared to the other cultists. But all the weapon options look amazing. Like that 2-handed sword where it's actually got the grip on the back of it.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, I am beyond excited for them. And of course, alongside that, Codex is coming out when? 2023. So not before the end of the year. But
yeah, I think it's funny on the AOS side, they showed the roadmap. On the 40K side, they kind of danced around it a little bit. And we'll get to why here in a bit. But
yeah,
strange that... they did that. So yeah, the World Eaters are coming out in a big way, and wow, keep this in mind as we go further on into the preview because more of it starts to make more sense.
Oh yeah.
So then they started doing some AOS reveals and kicked it off with, well, why don't you take this one again because these are your guys.
Beast of Chaos Battle Tome coming in, really revealed the new Beast Lord. Thank God. So we don't have that old resin piece of junk. And he looks great. Like, he looks savage.
Oh, gosh.
He looks angry. He looks like, well, as Bill thinks, uninspired in the paint job. But it's an update to the sculpt. And beasts have been languishing for a long time, too. Yes. I mean, essentially, Warhammer Fantasy? Yeah. The last time they had a new sculpt. Well, I guess we could say that the Herdstone, is a new sculpt, and so are the endless spells. But you know what I mean? Like for the actual like models that do things
the range.
actively in the game.
Yeah.
So excited to see what happens. Hoping that they keep the Rendon, because Beasts of Chaos are dominating right now.
Yeah.
And it makes me so happy. So yeah, I mean that was a quick and dirty there. But for the next one, God, another one of my actually won my first event with the Gloom Spike Gits.
Yep.
When I was over here at the Warhammer store. So we got the Snarlfang Riders. So we got Gobos on Doggos.
Gobos and oh God, I hope these are just regular Cav.
Oh yeah.
And they look like they are just bonkers good. Oh, such great sculpts.
Yeah, I mean, we got a little taste of it with Snarlfang's group, from Underworlds.
Yep.
So these are looking like units of 5, is what you'll get them in.
Usual Cav size, yeah.
Standard Cav. And yeah, I'm really excited for that. Battle Tome's coming out too, and I know this is kind of like skipping a step.
Sure.
But Warhammer Underworlds, they also announced Grincrack's Loon Court.
Yep.
So I think it's 7 models in that warband. Everyone's favorite is the squig on a stick.
Squig on a stick is so... Okay, so what do you make for a weapon? Well, you get a long stick, you put a squig on the end of it, you tie him there, and then you just let him eat on things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just so... such a great... I hope that unit plays into the Battle Tome and isn't glossed over like some of them are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just such a classically cool unit. And the way they described how the leader of the unit, Grincrack, he actually knights the squigs and makes them into followers, like, a real feudal / if you will, not a knightly order. And oh God, it's just the hilarity. I can't wait to see Luis get a hold of these and start painting them. It's going to be off the hook.
It's the thing, I think everyone likes Gloomspike Gits, except, for like competitive reasons,
sure.
Right? But like when you're playing with them, they're just fun.
And most, anytime I've ever played against Gloomspite, it's always a fun game, owing part to the randomness, but also they, some of their units are just bonkers powerful, and others are just like, why is that here?
Exactly. Like all that's happening right now is people are just spamming trogs, because those are the only things that do anything right now. So I'm hoping for that update, because I love the squig models.
Yes.
Oh, Squig Herd is annoying to put together because there's so many of them. But like the Squig Riders, the Mangler Squigs. God, I love the Mangler Squigs.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to do a Squigalanche and just, have that kind of fun. But it's going to take, and I know we've pretty much been goading them for a long time that, can we maybe have a Gloomspite book before the 18th Daughters of Cain revision comes out?
Yeah.
Maybe. And yes, they delivered. At the same time, and I think because they sort of have gotten this idea that we're all in this wondering, like, what are y'all doing? They did issue a Battletome roadmap.
Yep.
So through the end of the year, you're going to get the Gloomspite book. That's supposed to be winter 2022. So that will probably drop January, February timeframe.
Yep.
After whatever the big 40K January release is. But then in the spring, they're telling us we're going to get 1 Order book, 2 Chaos, and 2 Death Battle Tomes. So for Order, I can only assume it's another Daughters of Cain book, because that one is at least 3-4 months old. It really needs a refresh.
Actually, what I heard, it's another Lumineth book, right?
You're as bad as I am. Cynic.
I would suspect Cities or Caradron.
I was sort of hedging towards the Caradron Overlords. They I think they need some assistance.
Well, the only reason I said Cities first is because they started like not leaking out, but like spoiling, like, oh, look at these new armor sets and stuff for Cities of Sigmar. So that's what I feel it's going to be,
It could be. I was kind of hoping it would be Caradron, but they're not bad right now. I just think they could use some. But again, like you said, Cities is one of those amazingly convoluted books that has sources everywhere. It could really use a treatment like they've been doing.
Yeah. Sort of a unification.
So for Chaos, I'm going with, it's got to be Blades of Corn, and then I don't know what. I am not sure really what after that.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Unless they're gonna release Chaos Doors or something. Well, that's Destruction. Never mind. Yeah, like it has to be Blades, maybe Hedonites.
Could be. Yeah.
Not that Hedonite's done right, which is really hard to do. We're still pretty strong, Zinch just got a book.
Yeah.
Urgle recently got a book. Slaves just dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's Bach and Haas.
Yeah. So, and that's that's really good. I would really like to be able to break out the Blades of Corn again.
Oh yeah,
such a great army, super easy paint job, and tons of fun.
Oh yeah,
really, and it could play well with this Slaves book. So anyway,
and
then,
sorry,
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say Blades has probably some of the best sculpts in AOS.
Oh yeah, so
Hands
evocative.
Down.
Yeah.
I mean, I use them specifically for my World Eaters that I've been putting together. Like they just look better.
Yes. Yeah, they work. So, and then on to the death books. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Flesh Eaters and OBR.
I would say so. Those are the ones who have had the least recent books.
Yeah.
Flesh Eaters. Oh my God.
They need something.
Yeah. I mean, they probably don't need much.
No.
Like it's sort of like Ogors are, right? Like the army's like on the precipice of being amazing. Like
Yes.
Beasts of Chaos, Ogors, all those things. You need that little tweak.
Yes.
Little change to get it there. Maybe an infusion of new sculpts, but like Flesh Eater Courts is still one of the easiest armies to get into. You buy 3 of the Start Collecting boxes and go from there. And get an Arch Revenant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but they're just so good. But yeah, I know it has to be those two.
Yeah.
Like OBR, how many times have we talked about how like they've been oscillating in terms of can you even play them in 3.0 just because of their mechanics not really fitting in with the rest of it, and they've been like sort of like just slapping a Band-Aid on it, but it's not quite up to snuff.
Yeah, they put a couple of good Band-Aids on it, but I don't think they really took them over the top or into that realm of this is a fun army to play. And I mean, they have enough units that they can have an impact. And if they keep going down the road they're going with these battle tomes, I'm super excited. Yeah. It's hard not to be, because every single book that comes out is really good. They've reined in the power creep in AOS at least. And all they've done really with these new battle tomes is give you options, give you a lot more flexibility. Yeah. You can now play everything in the army except Stormcast, and have fun with them.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go, well, what's the net list for Flesh Eaters? Okay, I hate that. I like playing things that no one's ever seen before because it doesn't make sense. And okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So
Soulblight will be definitely later on because they had their book right before 3.0.
Yeah.
The other 2 books have been around a lot longer. So.
And I think Soulblight are actually in a pretty decent spot.
Oh, I'd agree with that 100%. Like, there's nothing wrong with them right now.
No.
And I know that some Death players might be a little salty presently. Believe me, I love Soulblight. But I think that these 2 need to come first.
Yeah, for sure. Flesh Eaters for sure. OBR really need a revamp.
Yeah, OBR is playing like 2.1, right? Like their 2.0 book that got like a 3.0 patch, but they didn't fix all the issues.
Didn't come quite all the way. So yeah. So then next up, we move on to Necromunda, where they announced the Khador Ridge Walkers, which are they're underwhelming models, but they're perfect for what they're supposed to be doing. So it's really, it's cool. They look like really pared down Sentinels or something you would find in an Underhive.
Yeah, when you think about what the Khador are, they're scrappers, right?
Yeah.
Like they just find junk and use it. And so there's no way they would have any like really complex machines.
Right.
So I looked at them. My description in Discord is like, they are dorky. They look dorky. Like it's almost like a Pixar robot that's breaking down. And you have some dude riding the back of it with a grenade on a stick. Yeah. Like that's what they are right now. I personally would still think just make your own walker with a penitent engine.
Sure.
That's what I plan on doing. I'll probably get I am going to get these guys anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you could like hack stuff out of the Grey Knights. There's just so many cool ways to. It's nice for people to have a kit to go to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see where it just will launch into a whole bunch of different conversions.
When you think about all the other vehicles that have been launched so far, right? The Goliath had those badass like trikes. You've got the hover jets, for the girls. You've got the bugs, right, for the nomads. And you've got those sick ATVs, and then these guys come like running out on Wall-E. Like, it's ridiculous. But it is what it is.
It fits the aesthetic. So.
Okay. No, okay. Yeah, no, I have a feeling that they're very suicide oriented. They're going to be like dirt cheap.
Yeah.
They're going to run up, stick a grenade in someone, and, maybe they'll just paint their faces white and, just yell war boys. But
So then next up, they dropped, and these two are combined. We'll combine these two. In the 40K world, there is a new sort of narrative, if you will, a new sort of way to play with the release of all of the stuff for Arcs of Omen.
Yep.
So they're introducing a new big bad guy. His name is Vashtor.
The Arcathane.
Yeah, the Arcathane. And he is a cross between Mechanicum, Zinch, and weirdness. But he's a great explanation for a lot of the Chaos vehicles like the Helldrake. And they even made mention of this is he's really the reason behind some of the Chaos units that you don't see that much. The Helldrakes, the not Slaughter Brute, the
Lord of Skulls?
No. Well, yeah, the Lord of Skulls, but also the
Forge Fiend, Smaller
Fiends.
Fiends.
Yeah, Forge Fiend, Smaller Fiend. Thank you. I couldn't. That's drawing a total blank, which incidentally, I'm really glad to see are in the Slaves to Darkness book. But he does not serve any Chaos God, but he's in demand by every Chaos God. So in the 40K Arcs of Omen announcement, they talked about the first 3 books are going to be Angron, Abaddon, and Vashtor. So the order kind of makes, I don't know if that's the exact order, but it does make sense that you would do Angron because, well, World Eaters. And then Abaddon as the key player, and then Vashtor as, he's the new baddie. He's the new thing that's influencing these arcs, the Arcs of Omen. So all the boarding action stuff, I think this is going to be a great way to even provide more of a springboard between Kill Team and 40K. So it was funny that I was listening to a podcast the other day that was for Star Wars Legion. And they were talking about how well GW puts together this idea of you can buy into Kill Team and you're on your way to 40K. It's not like, oh, I need all new models.
Yeah.
Or if I'm a big 40K player, boom, I'm already got my Kill Team stuff. So they're using, I think this setup is going to do 2 things. It's going to introduce 10th or introduce us to what's going to happen towards 10th. But it's also to get you to cross over the game systems a little bit more easily.
I agree there. And I think it's consistent with what it did last time with Vigilus, how that's what led into 9th edition.
Yep.
So this is certainly like propelling us forward. I think it's interesting that Vashtor, based on like what he is and what he appears to be doing, is sort of like the counterpoint to Call that Abaddon is to Gilliman, right?
Yeah.
And so his model looks amazing. It's got that like dark Mechanicus look that we've all been hoping for. I think he's going to be sick.
Evocative. And, it really is. It's a nice, beautiful story way of tying together Fabulous Bile, Vashtor, and Abaddon as, these are the movers and shakers for Chaos.
Yep.
And these guys go a long way towards explaining how Chaos has survived for 10,000 years.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to all of these books, although not, I'm not going to be hanging out day one at the store trying to get them, but these are going to be super interesting. And just, the idea that we're moving the story forward is wow.
Oh, heck, the narrative that's happening here is going to influence the story, too.
I know.
I'm really interested to see what comes out of it. So
I'm super pumped to see that.
Bill, did we make it through New Dawn?
We did. We finally reached the end of New Dawn. And that's mostly because there were like no new orders for Saturday because, well, Black Friday's coming up in the States, the Thanksgiving holiday. The Cadia stuff is going to drop. The big Cadia Army box drops Saturday. So, actually releases. So I think we'll see some pre-orders on Saturday, but we don't know what those are yet.
Yeah, News 11.
Which we probably are going to have limited access to because I got no interwebs.
We'll see what I can drum up on my phone if that comes up.
Yeah,
Right.
I got it here.
I will, real quick comment for there. They had the made to orders.
Yes.
So I picked up Archeon.
Oh, the old one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. I like that old model. I like the new one a lot better, but that one brought back memories of, oh my God. Whoopsie. So let's take a quick break and we'll go into creation.
Sounds good.
Make sure you join us tonight for the news at 11.
All right. As the lady said, even with our limited interwebs here at the house, we got new stuff for next week, and it's big. The Christmas boxes are going to hit.
Yeah, specifically for AOS.
Yeah, which is good for us. It looks like all of them.
Yeah, every single one of the AOS ones is dropping.
Yeah.
Just triple checking. Yes, they are. It's actually a pretty AOS/Warcry heavy week.
Very.
So the Curseling, Eye of Tzeentch, and Cenarian Lightner, who are in the dual box for
Right.
LRL and Tzeentch, those are being released in their individual
Single
kits.
packs. Thank you.
Then next part of the Warcry double sets, we got Sundered Fate.
Yes.
That terrain keeps remaining amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But it's, the what they call it, Jade Obelisk versus the Chameleon Skinks.
Yes.
So
Looking forward to that.
yeah, all those
forward to some
Seraphon
new
players are just
Seraphon models. Yeah.
stoked.
You betcha.
God, how old are those skink models? It's beyond. They are.
Well, the chameleons are resin, and I think they're one-piece resin.
Yeah,
So tons of cleanup to do. Yeah, nice.
these look amazing, and I love the little pterodactyls that come with them.
Yeah.
The Jade Obelisk guys look really cool too.
Yes.
So many people are just drawn to them. Very. What I like about Warcry is it's a little Dark Soulsy,
Yeah.
and those guys are definitely Dark Soulsy.
They play into that real well.
New terrain. Now the old terrain from the Narwhal Watch Camp is also being released.
Yes.
So get your AOS boards ready, folks. Like, these are amazing kits.
Yeah.
And you can do a lot with them. Plus, it gives a lot of interesting feel to the battlefield.
Yep.
It's not just, well, that one's a mountain and that's a house. Like, it's,
Yeah, no, these are completely different. These are really nice departures, and they will look great on an AOS board as well.
definitely. Which, since they're piecing out the terrain, the Hortons of Hashet and Rotmire Creed are also finally being released individually, along with their Warband tomes.
Yep.
And it looks like they're updating the under Rotten Ruin. They have the returning Warcry warbands, which are all the ones we've seen in the past.
Yep.
Right now, just being updated for the new stuff.
Yeah, I can find that kind of like Corvus Cabal, Iron Golem, Cypher Lord, Scions of the Flame, Splintered Fang, Spire Tyrants. After a short hiatus, it took them a while to reach the Gnarlwood. So these are probably the boxes, but with the new card information.
Yep.
You know, the new format. So
Wait. Nope. They don't include fighter or ability cards because all of them are now available as a free download.
oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's a whole book and there's a whole PDF where you can just. All right, so if you didn't catch those while they were out, you can catch them now.
And then you got the returning Warcry monsters, and they do give a very distinct and important note there that the Ogroid Myrmidon makes a perfect leader for your new Ogroid Therodon.
What?
Yeah.
Who knew? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for that. That's a really elite Warcry.
Oh,
band.
yeah.
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 Then Warcry dice.
Yeah, these look pretty cool, actually.
Not bad.
Depending on your flavor, you've got it covered.
For sure.
Horns of Hashet, Rotmire Creed, Hunters of Huanchi, and the Jade Obelisk.
There you go.
All right, then we move on to Blood Bowl, which they're going to throw more down on Dungeon Bowl because there's a death match box set coming out for... Now, this is for Dungeon Bowl, not specifically Blood Bowl, but I do believe they flip around and work in both, so...
Yeah, since they're sort of combinations of different teams.
And the thing I'm looking forward to is the Blood Bowl Spike Presents 2022 Almanac. So all those little Spike magazines that you didn't get, you can get them all in one place now.
That makes me happy.
Me too. And it comes out, of course, in hardback and, thank you, digital.
Oh, that's the best part.
Yeah. And
Like, that's how I get all my Necromunda books. You know, like, I'm not carrying around 10 books to play this game.
Right.
I'll have them all right here, and I can search.
Yes.
Then Warhammer Horus Heresy from Forge World, Night Lord upgrades the heads and the shoulders. Iron Hand upgrades heads and shoulders. No knees, no toes. But they're coming for you if you like those legions.
Yep.
Get ready
I
for
like
'em.
the way they're doing these. You know, they're just
Yep.
knocking out a couple every time. And, you know, just make them and make them right. I like that plan.
And then moving to the Black Library, we got Sanguinius, the Great Angel Special Edition. That cover is blowing my mind right now.
Thank you very much. We'll have one at least.
At least.
That is so good.
And if you don't get that, they also are releasing the standard hardback and audiobook.
Yes.
That's my preferred method since I drive 2 hours and 30 minutes total every day going to and from work. Soul Drinkers Omnibus Part 2.
Yep.
Hallowed Ground. Oh, yeah. This is going to be the Van Dents. Oh, they look so cool. Gloria sets off on her father's trail in the aftermath of the Great Siege led by Kragnos. We might be, I don't know,
are you moving
podcast contractually obligated to obtain that book since we cover the Broken Realms so heavily.
I know.
And then they have the the Tales of Christmas eShorts subscription.
Yep.
I'm excited about that, particularly because I do see a white scar symbol there.
It's 12 e-shorts. Let me see. Danny Ware, Sandy Mitchell, Mike Brooks, Dave Annandale. So should be some interesting short stories.
Yeah.
And, of course, it's an advent calendar, so it'll be a one-a-day thing.
And
if you're French and you love Mortarion, guess what? You can now read all about him in French.
Yeah, it's the Primarch series for Mortarion. So that is very specific. The Prince of Decay has reaped a heavy toll on the Gallaspar system. Yeah, I love those Primarch books, by the way. It's like a really interesting just character study on the particular character. Alfarius is my favorite so far.
Oh, yeah.
So good. And then Warhammer Plus has their updates and stuff. Painting Slaves to Darkness, Dark Metal Armor. So just in time, Bill.
Yes.
Battle report for the Guard. So happy.
Oh, I am so shocked. Shocked, I say, that there would be a Guard battle report. Who knew?
This soon after the Army box? I don't get it.
The Army box that drops next week. Oh, God, I can't.
Oh, did you not pre-order one? Now you're going to want to go get one.
Yes.
I mean, I already do want to get one because I love Guard.
Yeah.
I love Guard.
It's between the Slaves to Darkness, that is filtering right up my list of things to do. I was dumb enough to get, that November voucher.
Yeah.
And I had enough I realized at the very, moment that I only have one basilisk. And when you have one basilisk, it's almost like you only have none basilisks.
Yep.
So I now have two. So that should be coming in shortly. I just, I have enough death strikes.
Okay.
That
those missiles.
I think I may not be a desired opponent. So yeah, it's oh God, the Guard. Yay. But anyway, that's what's coming down the pike. So it's a big week for AOS. A lot of Warcry, a lot of really good stuff for us, and of course all the Christmas boxes. So if there's an army you want to get into, those are phenomenal values. If you're there already, don't worry about those boxes. But if you're not, and I'm looking at that vermin, kind of looking at this squig box. I might just be that dumb, but it'll be interesting to see the price point.
Oh, let me go back up to that squig box because was it 2 manglers in there?
I am not sure.
Let me see. 2 mangler squigs. Count them 2. 2 units of Squig Riders 2, so they come in 5s, right? So you get 10 total. And then a Squig Herd and the Loom Boss on the Giant Cave Squig. So that is a hella box. So
yeah,
if you want Squigs, get in now. And then just cross your fingers that they do them justice in the Battle Tome next year.
I have to believe that they will. I did. There's no indication. They haven't fallen down on any of these books yet.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah, boy. Well, I think that does it for the news at 11.
All right.
Stormcaster, cool.
All right. We about to get creative.
Or we were creative.
Well, that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking about creativeness in the past. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, I think you got a laundry list of things to talk about.
I do. And I want to start off with most of what I did over the last month was blasting this room. I know it doesn't look that much different, but I literally got rid of all my old workbenches, put in all new workbenches, just revamped everything so that it's a lot more of a friendly workspace for me. So that was literally 2 weekends just working on that, but it's so much nicer now.
Yeah, it looks clean.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it looks a lot more organized, and it's not separated into 2 separate workstations. So I can just slide back and forth between where I paint and where I build. Nice.
Boom.
Yep. So, and then like a complete and total idiot, I took on another commission right after delivering the last one. I did another one. So I have ripped out. Okay, there's this really goofy list in Star Wars Legion that consists of a whole bunch of B1. It's for the Republic or the Separatists. It's for a bunch of B1 droid units. Naked. They don't have any upgrades except each one of them has a repair droid. And then you throw in something like Grievous or, depending on what you want for leadership, you can have a little bit of fun. They're just super annoying. It's monstrously big units, and it's 8 units. There's a lot of models on the board, and moving them becomes a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But it's really good in that the B1 units have 7 models plus the repair droid, and the leader is in that. And even if they take a crap load of damage, which they will because they're just B1 droids, as long as the leader and the repair bot stay alive, you can start just bringing that unit back. And it's like very annoying to play against because, you can't outright kill the units unless you really double down on 1 or 2 units per turn. And it just bogs down force users. It bogs down vehicles. And having that many bodies, having 64 infantry troops in what is really a skirmish game is mind-boggling. Well, so is painting.
Yeah.
64. So luckily they're super easy, but now I have to start working on the machines. General Grievous was a lot of fun to paint. So
Oh, yeah?
yeah, he's, if you remember him from the movies, he's kind of unique in a bunch of ways, and he's fun. Also during this time, I got the Kickstarter for the Duncan Rhodes 2 Thin Coats paint set. Super delayed, super, wow. Was this ever took a lot longer, and no fault against them. It was worldwide shipping and what have you. And the fact that a lot of that stuff couldn't be sent by air. So, which I thought was crazy. But it is heavy. So I would imagine the cost would be expensive, but I have found them to be really nice paints to use. They're very subdued colors. There's no really super bright, but he does put them out in these like almost Vallejo-like triads where you have a base color, a highlight, and a shadow color.
Okay.
So kind of a nice way. And it's the Duncan Rhodes kind of, they are premium paints. They're coming in at like $5 a bottle. But you're getting what you pay for. They're good paints. They go on nice. They're reasonably opaque enough that the 2 thin coats is kind of a misnomer. You can usually get by with 1.
Okay.
The bottles that they come in, I was not certain I could hate anything more than GW pots.
Oh my God.
I have found something I hate more. Now I'm beginning to think, I don't see a lot of other people arguing about grousing about the bottles. And I'm wondering if it's because these things were made at sea level and then shipped to us where we're a mile high, the pressure difference. And I see this on a lot of paints.
Yeah.
The pressure difference causes them to squirt quite a bit when you first open them. But literally the way the tops open up and the way the spout is, they just become a gummy mess almost immediately, no matter how careful you are. And most of the ones that I opened up were already, the paint was already coming out of the top. Either they're overfilled or, it's a new range. They'll figure it out. They're not that bad, but they're not great. But I really do love the paints. I really do like them. I use them on a lot of BattleTech stuff, and I pretty much use them exclusively on the Star Wars stuff.
That's great.
Yeah. So definitely, if you're looking for kind of a new paint range to pick up, the 2 thin coats range is pretty good. I like it. And like I said, he already does the hard part of figuring out the base, highlight, and shadow color for you. So
Right.
you can, if you need a yellow, you can just buy the 3 yellows and pretty much have it. I think they're going to come out with another set soon with some brighter colors, because these are all very subdued, very dark tones
Okay.
across the range. So, but they're still really nice. I want to talk about Slap Chop. So if you've been following this Slap Chop saga, so the Honest Wargamer, Rob, he did a video a few months back where he talked about this new super easy method of painting, and he called it slap chop. And it really is quite simple. It's literally a black base coat, super heavy dry brush of a light gray, and then a lighter dry brush of a white to give highlight, really edge highlighting. And then you just use contrast paints.
Yep.
And what you end up with is, rather than just base coating, like GW says, base coat and, our new white or Wraithbone, which are very bright, or the gray sear, which are reasonably bright, but very solid, even covered gloss primers, if you will, so that the contrast can really do its thing. In the slap chop method, you end up with a little bit more of a grainy appearance.
Yeah.
Because of the heavy dry brushing, but you also have shadows built in and your highlights built in. So the contrast can be a little more effective at that highlighting and shading method. And my whole thing is, it's a method. It's an idea. It's hey, try this. You might like it. It was not stop doing what you're doing and start doing this, idiots. And that's not what Rob does. And then all of a sudden he starts getting all of this hate for bringing out slap chop, which, if you look back, he's not the first one that said, if you look at anybody that primes black and does zenithal highlights and then contrast paints, and I'm looking at every flipping painter out there, that's literally what slap chop is, but it's for people without airbrushes.
Yep.
Or that don't want to go through the time to set up an airbrush station if it's not already set up. So I cannot get over the idea of these people putting out, a lot of people put out videos going, here's an improvement to slap chop. Here's how I do it. Here's this difference. And then some people put out the actual attack videos like, don't do this. This is stupid. This guy's an idiot. And I'm like, what? Why? What is going on? I don't know. Do you have any thoughts?
So like you said, slap chop is not something new. It's just the name that's being used right now for it. And it's something that I kind of did in the past before we really had the contrast, And after, like looking at everything, my thoughts of this, and I can't remember who I was talking with about this, but I was like, it depends on the certain like depth or brightness of the color that you want on a particular model, because the contrast method is still relevant. But at the end of the day, it's either going to be contrast dry brush.
Right.
Or in this case, it's dry brush contrast.
Yeah.
And you might do a little dry brush afterwards if you need to pick up a little extra color.
Sure.
My thoughts are, it is a speed painter's dream.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my testimony for my creation. So I did a Frost Lord on Stonehorn. The Frost Lord I did completely with contrast method, but I built the Stonehorn. I was like, let me try slap chop.
Nice.
Right. After the primer had dried, from bringing it inside the house to completion and I clocked it, 1 hour and 42 minutes.
Holy, for a Frost Lord on Stonehorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is just the Stonehorn. I did the Frost Lord before, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But the actual big beastie itself, and I'm talking that's including the dry brushing phase, was 1 hour and 42 minutes.
That's bonkers. That's awesome.
And it was, you have to have tolerance for depth of color. And the thing is, when you're doing it, right, it doesn't necessarily seem like everything's congealing in the right way.
Yeah.
But once it dries, and then I hit it with a spray varnish, came back afterwards, I was like, oh my God, that's clean, And it really gives strong depth of color. And then you're able to go back afterwards and pick out highlights and edges and all those things if you want to take it to another level. And I did some extra dry brushing on the fur, and what else? The horns, and then on the bone that was on the seat, right? Just to pick out a little extra color and, again, give a little extra gradation. And it was just that easy, that simple. To think that if you have the tolerance for, building 6, monster trucks, you can paint an entire Beast Claw army in like 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Over the course of an average week, you'll be done with your army.
Yep.
So, yeah, I just don't understand why someone would go, here's a guy that's putting out an idea, a thought, and this is a super easy method for the everyman to get into. And okay, even if I disagree with it, do I actually need to put a video out there calling this guy out for doing that? I'm just like, wow, people, maybe manage your time a little better.
Yeah.
If I understand, if you're Spiky Bit, if you're what's her name on YouTube, You just want to poke at everything because you're clickbait, and that's how you survive. But honestly, there's no reason to be dogging the dude for coming up with an idea or naming an idea, showing how it's executed, and showing how it could make your life a little easier if you want to do it.
If you want to do it.
Right. So anyway, leave off, Rob. Come on. I also moved on to painting tons of Battletech mechs, and I can say that because they're measured in tonnage. So,
Wow.
But I will get into that more probably in the After Dark as to in a little bit in battle about why I'm doing that. That pretty much is, other than the fact that I have looked at that Slaves to Darkness box and said, that is going to the top of the pile. That Demon Prince is coming out the door, and Bellicor is about to get a paint job.
There you go. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, on my side, so I finished up, I call them my Pintos. So that's dudes newly released from the pen.
Nice.
It's one of my units of Gluttons. I did all of their pants in Department of Corrections orange. They all have like a black or slightly brown hair. So it's my chain gang. You know, I just wanted to make sure that my different units stood apart. And based on my reading of the book, I'm not going to run like 12 man units.
Yeah.
Particularly because if I'm running Gluttons, I'm probably doing Meat Fist, and I want to just maximize mortals.
Sure.
So I have one unit that looks like a bunch of dudes in like military green pants. Now these ones have the bright orange pants. I'm going to do a unit like clowns.
Sure.
Just to really make sure someone's creeped out. And then like my Iron Blasters, not Iron Blasters, Lead Belchers all have different pants colors.
Nice.
So yeah, I finished up those. The Frost Lord on Stonehorn, like I said. I built one of my 3 Iron Blasters and started to put some paint on it. Man, that model is an old sculpt. Looks great, but everything's so compact.
Yeah.
That it's like next time I build it, I'm not putting all these trinkets on it.
I hear you.
I'll probably slap chop the other ones because that one I was doing contrast method.
Yep.
I also built a Grimnir
Nice.
and her 2 little bots. I absolutely love the alternate head sculpt for the Grimnir. Yeah, just like the old matriarch looking thing.
Yeah.
You know, big fan. Actually, I didn't put this on the list. Started to build some of my Berserks. Mostly been focusing on Ogors. I still have another Vanguard box and 2 boxes of Iron Guts to put together.
Nice.
I'm going to take the extra Tyrant, because I already have one, and kit bash that into a second Butcher, because I can turn the spear into a cleaver.
Sure.
And he already has a tenderizer in his other hand, right? So not too much to kit bash to make that need what I need it to be. So because of the trial and stuff, it was pretty down and dirty in terms of what I could do. Starting to get my creative bones back on. If Dark Tide doesn't take me first. So that was,
I hear you.
That was my creation.
All right. So battle. I got a few games in.
Yeah.
It's, at a month. So finished up the AOS game that we started at the end of the last show. Proved to myself that I really do suck at AOS. I just managed to take what was a really good position and fritter it away by offering up units piecemeal. Just got my butt handed to me. So,
Oof.
Brain death, just really dumb. But then we flipped around and we played Sons of Behemoth against Stormcast. And, just the reverse was true. Such a fun game. Came down to quite literally the last save on the last turn, whether or not the giant was going to live, because if he'd lived, he had the objective. If I was able to kill him, I would take the objective and win by 1 point, and I did. He died. He failed his save. So giants do die.
Yeah.
They do die. It was such a fun game because you really have to change your way of thinking when you go up against Sons of Behemoth.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just wound output, but it has to be quality wound output.
Yep.
And it frees up your other units that possibly can't do that kind of quality work to do other things. And you have to be cognizant of doing other things with the units that don't just throw things at giants, because they'll throw them away.
Yeah.
And, I actually felt like I learned something that game, which was, wow, weird. So fun game.
Awesome.
We are going to start a Path to Glory campaign, which I thought was a neat idea, but he's been listening to the show and he's like, I want to do that. I want to try that. Damn it. And I've kind of been thinking about maybe, because we're also going to do it as a growing league or a growing thing. So I was kind of thinking about maybe doing Slaves to Darkness. I don't know.
I can dig it.
I just might, and that might be something you hear more about going forward, is how I developed that and move through it. So we're going to cover this more in After Dark, but I got to say, we did a Battletech game, which was very organic the way it happened. We did not plan this, but it just so happened that on a particular night, we had people, there was an idea, and some guy had walkie-talkies in his car.
Oh, my God.
And so we did a blind commanders game where basically the two Army commanders went to another room where they couldn't see the games being played, and they had to issue orders.
Oh, okay.
Without, what they had was a map, and they were using the Battle Force counters to basically represent us little people, the players. And they would be like, okay, I'm going to move this 6 hexes over here. And then we had to implement that on the table. And it was just nuts. The only communication we could have was during their orders phase. They would get on the walkie-talkie and say, all right, I want you to move your 2 lances over here and hold that point. Don't let anybody get past you. Okay. And then we would hand the walkie-talkies over and other people would get their orders. And so there's all this misinterpretation. Well, I thought you meant I thought you meant that hill. No, I told you the big hill.
Nice.
I didn't see a big hill. Okay, whatever, So yeah, that was silly fun. Talk more about it in After Dark because it's not anything even GW related, but it was a lot of fun.
That's super cool. I really like that. I'm just thinking of like the old war movies where you have the guy over there. It's like fire, and then it goes down to the guy below, fire, and then the guy at the gun, boom. Like,
yep, it was so cool.
that is awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, as I said in the intro, I didn't have any battle other than in court.
Sure.
Last few weeks, I tell you what, trying a homicide trial is something else. My first one, biggest trial of my career. My boss brought me onto it a month before trial, maybe 3 weeks. And she's pretty much like, I need you to like pony up. I need you to do this because, my second chair is engaged in this other attempted murder trial.
Jesus.
That's going before that. And back to back, he's going to be wrecked. And my boss is like, I absolutely need you to do this. So I did. At the same time, my wife is pending like major surgery.
Yeah.
Right. And she was actually supposed to have surgery on the 9th. So I'm going through some insane stressors all at the same time. But it was there's so much that goes into it. There's so much like chain of custody, being able to get the witnesses in the right order, being able to have the correct emotional impact with the right witnesses. Like, this is a very harrowing case. It's a very tragic case. And just a word to the wise, if you're ever thinking about going into law and you want to go into, not just like contracts or mergers and acquisitions and stuff like that. If you want to do the real work, either like criminal law or, those serious civil cases with accidents and stuff, you have to be ready for the secondary or vicarious trauma that you receive.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, and I've been telling everyone, I haven't been able to get more than 4 hours of sleep since the trial, just because there was so much stress throughout all of it. And even afterwards, the fallout, like we won. I was able to convict these 2 men of first-degree murder.
Wow.
It was intense, but it still has a lot of fallout, so you need to make sure you take care of yourself. I'll give some more details on the trial in After Dark, but it was an emotional roller coaster.
I can imagine.
It is a very, very sad story and a very intense story. And just a quick little snippet. The 2 defendants wanted this victim dead. They went to his house, chased him and his brother in a vehicle, firing at him throughout an entire neighborhood.
Oh, lovely.
And the chase was about 10 miles long, just because they're weaving through so many side streets. And ultimately, the victim was shot in the head, and somehow his brother miraculously wasn't, but they still tried to gun him down. His brother survived.
Oh, Jesus.
And it was all on 911 call.
Wow.
So it's something else, I'll tell you right now, when you hear someone's last moments.
Yeah, I would imagine.
It's definitely a trying time. Get it?
Yeah.
Trial. But it was a good victory. It was hard fought.
Good deal.
Hard fought.
Yep.
So, I'm glad to be on the other side of it. Now it's just the recovery period.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to get your headspace right.
That's for damn sure.
Tons of fun. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up battle. We're going to take a quick break and roll into lore.
Stormcast are cool.
All right, so it's time to kick off the meat of the show, if you will. See what I did there? All right, so we are going to cover first Ogor Mawtribes.
We are. So I'm excited for this stuff. Definitely. So let's just get down to it. You're going to want to take a tyrant as your general.
Okay.
Why are you going to want to take a tyrant as your general, Josh? That sounds dumb when I can take a Frostload on Stormhold.
Yeah, why would I want to do that?
Why would I want to take a tyrant?
Because he's got stomps and stuff.
Yeah, well, how would you feel about throughout the course of your Path to Glory campaign earning every big name on his war scroll?
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. That'd be cheating.
I thought so too, but apparently it's not. And it's really interesting. So how it works is if you add a tyrant to your order of battle, you must record its big name on your order of battle. It must also be given a big name when you include it in the army. If your warlord is a tyrant, they can earn additional big names as they gain renown. The number of renown points your warlord has determines how many big names they can have, as shown in the table below. You start with one big name at 15 and 19, right? Then you go to two big names, 20, 29, and it escalates all the way up to 6.
Yeah, every 10 points is another name.
Exactly. Now, there's a little side note. I want to make sure if anyone has this book, they don't miss that. If you take the Killer Reputation Warlord trait, that's an addition.
Oh.
So you can get another big name at 20 renown, right? Instead of at the 15.
Yeah.
So you have one to start out, then you get to another one, so on and so forth until you have all the big names. But the cool thing for me is that to get the big names, you have to meet certain criteria,
Yes.
right? So if you meet the criteria for multiple big names in the same battle, you have to pick one. But you have, 6 different ways to get the 6 big names.
What? That's amazing.
So Death Cheater, when the battle ends, your warlord has not been slain, has 5 or more wounds allocated to them. So you need to be in the scrum. You need to take some damage and you need to survive, right?
Right.
You
You're close.
Wait.
So you took 5 wounds.
You need to cheat death. Oh, get it?
Wow.
Get it how we got there? Okay.
Where do they think of this stuff?
I know, right? Brawler Guts is your warlord doesn't die and you kill their warlord.
Right.
Okay. Made by your warlord. Fate Seeker, it's that one you can't control really.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to roll a 6 on the turn, your opponent has to roll a 1. But if that happens, Fate Seeker's one of the best ones.
Yeah, and boom, you get it. So.
That's you go to a 3-up save.
Yeah.
And then Death Cheater's the other one where you get a 5-up ward.
Yep.
So if you want to be a freaking tank.
Yeah.
That's how
pretty
you
much
do
an
it.
invulnerable tank.
Right. Long Strider, you need to roll boxcars on a charge.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun. Giant Breaker, your warlord doesn't die and he kills a monster.
Okay. Fair enough.
Possible. Especially if you're going against like BOC or something, the smaller monsters.
Yeah.
And then Wall Crusher, your warlord hasn't been slain and they destroyed a enemy unit that was in a garrison or in cover.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, hey, that's a Carriage on Overload boat.
Yeah.
I killed everything inside of it.
Yay.
So that's fun. That's spicy. But the only way you can do it is if your tyrant's your warlord. That's how you unlock it. Okay.
Yeah.
Every tyrant you take gets a big name, right? Yep. But for you to earn all the big names for a single character requires him to be your warlord. That's why I'm saying you're probably taking a tyrant. I think it was carved out that way.
For sure. And yeah, the reason they didn't give this to a Frost Lord, it just would not work.
Jesus. That would be not fair.
No, it would.
Because they already have like I say it's the best Monstrous Rampage in the game, but people argue between that and Roar. With the unstoppable charge, where you're like, I'm going to charge 2d6 impact hits. Now I'm going to run 3d6.
Yeah.
And just do d3s on a 2-up.
Yeah.
On anything I passed over. Right now I'm wherever I need to be.
Yay.
Ridiculous. The next one is the Maw Path. This is another fun thing. It's a game by game mechanic. Very flavorful. Get it? As you're eating your way through, plunders and spoil is what you're trying to get, and you're ultimately trying to see if you can get a high feasting score.
Yeah.
Right. +1 each time an enemy unit is destroyed, and this is what you're adding to your score.
Yeah.
You start with 0 at the beginning of every game. +1 if the destroyed unit was a monster. +1 if the destroyed unit had reinforced once. +2 if it's twice. +1 if you won a major victory, +2 if you won, +1 for minor, +2 for major. Then you go back to your glut hold and you try and figure out what your feasting score is. So you add up all your plunder and spoils, right? How many points did you get? And then you roll 6d6, right? And that is your feasting score. And so it's 0 to 30, 51 to 50, so it goes up by increments of 20, right? And up to 100 plus. So 0 to 30, no reward. You suck. 31 to 50, Eat their fill. You earn D3 glory points. Nice. 51 to 70. Satisfied belches. Every unit on your order of battle gains D3 renown points, and if they earn a rank, they instantly get a veteran ability.
Oh, nice.
71 to 79. Roars of approval. You earn 2d6 glory.
Okay.
And 100 plus. Blessings of the Gulping God. You gain 1 bonus artifact from your plunder of the Glut Hole table or trophies of the Underwinter that is not already on your Path to Glory roster and is added to your vault. So these are cumulative.
Yep.
Right? So what you're trying to do is plunder, spoil, and eat. Exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean,
as an Ogre Mawtribe player.
None of those are really over the top, but they're all fun.
Yeah.
So, okay. I like it.
It doesn't feel terribly runaway either. I mean, we all know how vulnerable Ogors can be to damage and stuff. That's just why they have a ton of wounds.
Yeah.
But they hit pretty hard now.
Yes.
Even your gluttons for 265 points are doing 24 attacks that can go up to 30 pretty quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, 31. Forgot the extra threes, -1, 2 damage. Like they are hitting hard. They charge and do damage.
Yeah.
They do gulping bites after combat. It's lovely.
Yes.
So the quests are interesting. So you have your standard monster quest, right? For your Stonehorn hero, Thunder Tusk hero. I want to get that mount trait, right? So then you take this quest. You complete it if, let's see what exactly it was. At the end of the battle, you complete this quest if that unit destroyed any enemy units during the battle. And when you complete it, you add the mount trait to your vault. Cool. And it can only be used by that hero.
Yeah, pretty standard across the board. Love that one.
Exactly. I mean, it's just common anytime anyone has a monstrous mount.
Yeah.
And I love it. I mean, it's very consistent.
And it's a way for you to get those extra mount traits and give you, the flexibility in your Path to Glory roster that you kind of want to have.
Yeah. Appetite for Destruction, an interesting little mini game where at the end of the game, you roll a dice for each of your friendly units in your enemy's territory. For each 6, you gain a clue. Once you have 3 clues, you do the Raise to Ruin map.
Yeah.
And so the battle plan there, I mean, I'm not going to go into all of it, but it's essentially like you're attacking a settlement, right? So it's very, like if you read the lore of the Ogors and how they're mob pies of them going in circles, just destroying settlements. Their Rhinoxes and more like the Stonehorns and Thunder Tusks are eating like everything not organic.
Yes.
Well, the Ogres are eating all the people.
All the people stuff.
Yep. And so,
by the way, if you are reading the lore in the Ogre Mawtribes book, it is kind of gross sometimes.
Oh, it's horrific.
Really? Wow.
It's horrific. I mean, these things are horrific beings.
Don't leave it out for your kids.
Yeah. Exactly. So the bonus renown this. So the winner of the Raise to Ruin gets 2d6 glory points.
Nice.
And if you want a major victory, you can re-roll the dice. So if you roll low, hey, let's try and get it done.
Nice.
Right? In addition, the attacker can increase their plunder and spoils by the number of victory points they scored during the battle, regardless of whether or not they won the battle.
Holy.
So you got to try and increase on that table, which is great. Now in this one, each time a terrain feature is raised to ruin, each unit in the attacker's army within 3 inches it gains 1 renown point. In addition, at the end of the battle, each enemy unit wholly within the defending territory gains 1 renown point. So it's the idea of just the massive wall of flesh and maws crushing through. And if you do that, that's what ogres want to do. Yeah. You get rewarded for doing what ogres want to do.
Wow.
Who would have thought, right?
Exactly.
And then back to the quest, appease the gulping god. You can only pick this quest after a battle in which your opponent won a major victory.
Wait, what? You have to lose to use the... Oh, man.
Yep.
All right.
At the end of the Path to Glory battle, you complete this quest if you won a major victory. So they need to beat you in a major victory. Mm-hmm. Then you're like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
You come back, and if you complete the quest, you double the plunder and spoils you earn for that battle.
Okay.
Right? That's pretty good.
That's bonkers good.
You know, that's you getting to your 100 plus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it's probably going to be hard to get there initially.
Yeah. At the start, sure.
Chosen by the Everwinter. Do you want priests? Because this is how you get priests. So you can only embark on this quest if you do not have a Huskard on your order of battle.
Wow.
And while you're undertaking this, you cannot add a Huskard to your order of battle.
Ooh.
Keep a tally of how many models are slain by mortal wounds caused by the grasp of the Everwinter battle trait. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be that many. In step 7 of the Aftermath sequence, roll a number of dice equal to your current tally. If any of the dice are a 6, the Everwinter has chosen you and you complete the quest and you get a Huskard.
I'm down.
Yeah. Do you want to just kind of earn a priest as you go. I don't have any other quests to do. I'm pretty good. Let's just see if I happen to get it.
Right. Or you build with that quest in mind. And yeah, I mean, I think I would go for that right away.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I like the Huskards. Oh, I like them.
Oh, the Huskards with the Chosen of the Everwinter, which is their actual like command trait that they can get, warlord trait, I mean.
Yeah.
They have all the prayers,
Yes.
right? If they're already a Huskard. But if not, hear me out. If you want a really crazy, just absolutely ridiculous frost load on the Stonehorn, you give him the Chosen of the Everwinter, so he becomes a priest. You give him the Arcane Tome, now he's a wizard. And you give him Rockmane Elder, so he's -1 to wound. And he has a 5-up ward. That guy is ridiculous.
Oh, that's sick. I hadn't even, okay, I'm doing that.
Here's my wizard priest tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That eats from horseback or, Frost Lord back.
Then veteran abilities. So interesting stuff. I think that they all, I mean, again, very thematic throughout this whole thing. First one's Greedy Chompers, Ogors only. So you can't give it to your only Rhinox or, that kind of thing. Has to have the Ogor keyword. At the end of, once per battle at the start of any phase, if it is eating, so you're within 3 inches of enemy units,
right?
You heal D3.
Okay.
Not bad.
No.
It's a quick, like, once per game heal this group up, right? Oh, no, one of my Iron Guts is almost dead. Let's bring him back.
You're right.
Noblar Blast Keg, by the way, spoiler alert, Noblars are really good.
Yeah. Just
as, like, little distraction screening pieces that cause someone to maybe take upwards of 3d3 mortal wounds in a turn. What? And the text on that is if any enemy completes a move within 6 inches, a move.
Yeah.
So normal move, charge, pile in. All of that can result in, on a 4-up, D3 mortals. So
Jesus.
Love it. But anyway, so Noblar Blast Keg, unit can use veteran ability once per battle in your shooting phase. Pick one enemy unit within 6 inches of the unit and roll 12 dice. For each 6, they suffer 1 mortal wound if it has fewer than 10 models, and 2 mortal wounds if it has 10 or more models. So just once per game, catch, right?
Jeez.
So on average, you're going to get 2 mortals to 10 or less, or 4 mortals to more than 10, which is okay for a free ability. Why not?
For something
right?
free, yeah. I'll take it.
Thick Blubber, so good. Use this when veteran ability once per battle. When your unit's picked as the target of a shooting attack, subtract 1 from wound rolls.
Yeah, it's ogres only.
Yeah.
So,
which is fine. I mean, you kind of have that anyway for the gluttons because they have the little banner, little lookout Noblar.
Yep.
Impressive bulk. Oh man, it's essentially so Ogre or Rhinox. After you made a charge move once per battle, you add 3 to the dice you roll for your charge. Yeah.
Oh god. Oh gosh.
Right.
Roll 3 additional dice. Oh my god.
Wombo combo that with Kragnos.
Bonkers. Oh god. All right.
And if you do it on the Rhinox, there's a way to get it to a 3-up mortal wound. So, yeah. Can you imagine that? 21 dice, 3-up mortal wound. Oh.
Wipe out units.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, just because an Iron Blaster charged. There's a lot of investment to get there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Beastclaw Raiders for Bringers of the Blizzard. Once per battle, start your hero phase. In that phase, subtract 1 from rolls made for enemy units within 3 inches of this for the purposes of Grasp of the Everwinter.
Yep.
As we know, it's equal to or less than the current battle round. You do D3 mortals, so it's like a bad gulping bite.
Yeah.
But for purposes of the quests and everything, this can be handy. So then, surprisingly hard to kill, a Noblar only veteran ability. This unit can use it once per battle, start the combat phase until the end of the phase. Only unmodified hit rolls of 6 for attacks that target this unit score a hit.
Oh my god, that's awesome! Oh, that is so. The bravado of that Noblar unit. Oh Lord,
I freaking love that ability.
Oh my god.
So I'll cycle back to the territories, but just real quick on the heroic upgrades. This is the same stuff we've seen before, where you go from one unit to the next.
Yep.
A Butcher becomes a Slaughtermaster. A Huskard on Thundertusk becomes a Frostlord on Thundertusk. Huskard on Stonehorn becomes a Frostlord on Stonehorn. There are lore reasons for that. Though I will say in-game Slaughtermasters are worse than Butchers, if you ask me.
Yeah.
The Butcher does a lot more damage, has a better spell in his War Scroll.
Yeah.
So
keep the Butcher.
Keep the Butcher. Easier to model as well. And by the way, just don't buy the GW models for the Butcher and the Slaughtermaster, and they're some of the like worst sculpts ever. Territories. So we have the usual, 61 to 66. What do you get? 61 is the Noblar Shanty Town. You can't have more than one of this. Each time you recuperate a unit of Noblars, make the recuperating roll as normal. Then if it has a casualty score of 1 or more, you can reduce it further by D6.
Nice.
Not too bad. But if you upgrade it, in addition, reduce the glory point cost of upgrading other territories on this table by 5.
Oh, wow.
That's 10 GP. So everything else, if you get that first, imagine everything drops by 5, right?
Nice. Very nice.
Frostbitten Mountains is 62. Increase your priest limit by 1, your monster limit by 2. And if you upgrade it, it's been explored. So you increase your monster limit by 4 instead of 2.
Thank you, Beast Claws.
Yes, sir. In addition, roll a dice in step 7 of the Aftermath sequence. On a 6, you can add 1 unit of Icefall Yetis without spending any glory points.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
I will take that.
All day long.
63 is the Feasting Pit. You can never have more than 1. I love this. When you determine your feasting score, roll 7d6 instead of 6d6. And when you upgrade, you roll 8d6.
Oh, Jesus. God dang.
That's probably one you want to fish for early on.
Yeah.
For these guys. The Fighting Pit. So step 3 of the Aftermath sequence, you can pick 1 unit on your order of battle that was not included in your army to be sent to this territory. If you do so, roll a dice. On a 3+, they gain a renown point. However, on a 1, they must either make an injury roll or have its casualty score increased by 1, whichever is applicable. When you upgrade it, you can send 2 units. So there's going in and fighting, trying to get good.
Sure.
Ruined Sky Titan Stronghold. Again, you can only have 1. I think that's for all of these. No, you can have multiple Frostbitten Mountains, but everything else is you can only have 1 of. Reduce the glory costs of adding Iron Blasters and Lead Belcher units to your order of battle by 1. When you explore, in addition, step 6 of the Aftermath sequence, you can pick 1 hero on your order of battle to be sent to this territory. If you do so, roll a dice. On a 1 and 2, nothing happens. On a 3 to 5, increase your plunder and spoils by 1. On a 6, you gain a bonus artifact.
Okay, I'll fish for that 6.
Yep.
Because increasing it by 1 on a table of 0 to 100. Whew.
Yeah, fish for that 6.
Mm-hmm.
66 is the Great Maw. We're hoping this one will come up, right? In a middle or higher tier battle, when you use the Battle Broth ability for a Great Maw pot in your army and spend all of its magic, you heal D6 wounds allocated to each friendly Ogor unit wholly within 36 of the Great Maw pot instead of D3.
That's nice.
Mighty Offering. In a higher tier battle, this is the upgrade, it's as above, except treat any roll of a 1 or 2 as a 3 instead. So you heal base 3 wounds.
Minimum 3. That's really not. I like it.
And that's the Ogors. I mean, it's exactly what you would expect it to be. The Ogors have a lot of fun flexibility now. They've got something for everyone. If you're an Underguts player, you I want Iron Blasters until I can't have any more Iron Blasters because I love putting together weird models and painting too much. That's there for you. If you like your Beast Claw, because a lot of people like monster trucks, that's for you. It's just got the flavor that you want for Ogors, which is I want big names, I want to eat things, I want to smash into stuff, and my Noblars are going to be strangely tricksy.
And I really liked seeing the upgrades to Noblars in this that make them a thing.
So annoying.
Yes.
But I love it.
But in an army of big, oh my God, things, you need something to harass.
Yeah.
It's not like you can take a unit of gluttons and just run them around the corner and say, haha, I'm over here, come get me. Now you have units that can actually, even your Mournfang packs and all that stuff, you don't necessarily want to use those as distraction carnifexes.
Yeah.
Whereas a unit of Noblars is not something you're going to just really lay up at night crying about, but it can also do a lot of amazing, funny things. I like it.
Well, if anyone's really scared of those mortals, you use them to funnel.
Yeah.
Send them, you're going to get within 6, right? Or if you're going to charge this hero, or charge this unit, I'm still within 6, right? So, explosion. Oh, you made a pile-in, you're still within 6. Oh, explosion, And it's any, so you can't stack them, right? Otherwise, Noblars would be ridiculous. But the fact that it's 20 for 100 points is so good.
Yes.
I think you need a unit of Noblars at least for every list that you're making, both competitive and Path to Glory.
Yeah. They're a lot of fun, and they give you a lot of flexibility that you didn't have with the other base units. So, love it. Love it. All right, want to move on to slaves?
Let's do it.
Okay. So I want to talk about the book itself real quick to lay the groundwork. So there was a day 0 errata drop for this book.
Yeah.
Made some pretty large changes to the book. And I'm going to say the same thing I always say with the day 0 facts. I hate that. I truly hate that because they made some sweeping changes to Archeon, one of the major war scrolls in the book. And, you know, if you've got Garage Hammer guy that doesn't get on the internet a lot or doesn't care to, he's not even going to know that Archeon changed this much. He's not going to know that the marks changed. But anyway, neither here nor there. A lot of changes, so grab the errata from the website. If you have the Just Slaves to Darkness Army box set, be aware that the page numbers don't match up.
Yeah.
So, but obviously you can kind of figure out what rule goes to what. That's because they label them. So, big things with this book. Archeon got some really, really big changes that make him a lot more flexible, but also he's no longer an auto take in Slaves to Darkness.
Yep.
Not even close, because not only is Bellicor out there, but even Demon Princes are so beefed up that you can conceivably get away with one of those as your boss. So Archeon Slayer of Kings is tamed down a little bit now. Nowadays, it's when you roll to attack with Slayer of Kings against an enemy hero. If on your attack roll you roll 2 natural 6s, the hero is slain. So yeah, I like that. You know, the base attacks on that thing is 4. So you're looking at, you know, having to roll 2 6s on 4 dice, but it's still, it's as doable as it used to be. I think it's just a little bit cleaner now. So yeah, nice. I'm good. The marks, the different marks that can be applied to the units have completely changed.
Completely.
And they're so much better now. Not going to go into what each one was. Go to Facehammer. But no longer do you need 6 different resources as well as a legal degree to figure out what the mark does.
Yes. So
cut and dried, very beginning of the book, where they start talking about army-wide special abilities. There's the marks. Here it is. Nice. The rerolls for the marks, by the way, are all gone because this is 3.0. But they're also no longer dependent on a leader aura. You don't have to have a leader with the same mark to enact the aura ability. So super, super great changes. And they freed up the ability to have multiple marks in the same army. Yeah. So yay. Now, when we get into Path to Glory, oh my God. So the very basic standard rules for the Path to Glory: when you add a unit to your roster and you're going to give it a mark of chaos, you mark it on the roster. So you're not able to be super gamey and, depending on who you're fighting, change the mark.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, because that would have led to some bad feelings, I think. So, but it's spelled out there in a rule. You have to say what mark it has when you put it on your roster. And then the Eye of the Gods rule: when you are rolling for the Eye of the Gods stuff, they have and you know, the Eye of the Gods thing is when you kill a unit, you can roll during, you know, a regular game. You make a roll and see what happens.
Yeah.
On a 2, you become a spawn. On a 12, you become a dark, you know, Prince Dark Apotheosis. So it's that weird, oh no, my hero turned into a spawn. Shit. So in here, they give you the rules for what happens if your hero turns into a spawn and what happens if he turns into a demon prince. So needed to be there, and it's good to have. And then they clarify in here, thankfully, that if you have an army with an ensorcelled banner, which is a thing for the standard armies,
yep.
If the unit that had it is killed, that banner goes to another unit.
Oh,
so
cool.
You don't lose it. Yeah, because you
Okay.
paid in blood for that.
Yeah.
So very, very nice. Now we get into the thing that makes their Path to Glory so chaos, because it's nothing but chaos.
Love it.
And what it is it's called Gifts of Chaos. During the Path to Glory campaign, your warlord will earn favor. This is represented by a favor score, which you keep track of in the notes section on your order of battle. When your warlord is first added, he has 0, and then you gain. So how you get it is you get a favor if you slay an enemy hero. You gain 1 if you slay an enemy monster. You gain 2 if it was a unique enemy hero. +1 favor if you were contesting an objective controlled by the enemy when you gain control of it. So if you take an objective, you gain a favor for that. Then you get the basic ones. If it's in your order of battle and wasn't slain, you get a favor. If you win a minor victory, you get 1 more favor. If you win a major victory, you get 2 more favor. Well, what do I do with all this favor? I've got like 6 favor. Okay, you're awesome. During step 7 of the Aftermath sequence, you can choose to spend any of the favor your warlord has earned up to a maximum of 6. And this is how you gain the Gifts of Chaos. You then take the dice and you roll that number up to 6. Okay?
Okay.
Now here's where it gets really weird, because the number of Gifts of Chaos is 12. So why not just have a 2 through 12 table? No, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is you're going to pick up those 6 dice and you're going to roll them, and you're looking for doubles and triples.
Oh my God.
Okay. So in the Gifts of Chaos table, there's a gift for if you roll double 1s, double 2s, double 3s, etc. And then again, if you roll triple 1s, triple 2s, triple 3s, all the way up to triple 6. Go figure. So it's a really neat twist on just a 2d12 table, which could have been really boring. But in this way, it's truly chaotic. You're going to be able to spend your favor points, and then you roll the dice and see what happens. So you're not guaranteed any of this stuff. But by God, if you get it, holy hand grenades, some of these are really good. I'm not going to go through each of them, because you can kind of, you know how Path to Glory works. Yeah. There's a mechanism here to gain D6 glory points on a double 2. On a double 1, if you're working a quest, you get a quest point. On a double 6, do not make injury rolls for your warlord for the next 3 Path to Glory battles.
Oh, Lord.
Is that not good?
Suiciding in for sure.
You know, you just turned him into Rambo.
Yeah.
You know, YOLO. So it's, all of these are really good. The double 5s is you can, once per battle, you can issue a command without a command point. So none of these are going to break games wide open, but they're going to be really good. If you roll triples, now we're getting into some, okay, this is going to be good. On a triple 1, if you do not control a Chaos Monolith territory, you can immediately bring the territory under your control without spending any glory points.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. You have ones in here that will add an ally unit with the demon keyword to your order of battle without spending glory points. Very nice. All the way up to a triple 6, which says if you, warlord, I'm sure they meant your.
Yeah.
If your warlord has the Eye of the Gods keyword, you can pick a Demon Prince heroic upgrade for your warlord without spending any glory points or requiring them to have a certain amount of renown points to do so. So, boom. Instant. Awesome. Oh, this is just, and that's going forward. That's for the rest of the, don't turn him into a spawn. So next up, we get into the quests. I truly love these 4 quests. So your quests are the Glory of Chaos is the first one. You pick a Slaves to Darkness hero that has the Eye of the Gods keyword. So it's one of those that can roll the dice after they kill something. And you write down their name in the quest reward section of your log. At the end of a Path to Glory battle, at the end of the battle, if that hero has not been slain or replaced via Eye of the Gods, add 1 quest point to the progress section of the log for each roll that hero made on the Eye of the Gods table that was not a 2, 3, 11, or 12. So 2 or 3 is the spawndums, 11 or 12 is the apotheosis. So basically, if they rolled middle of the road, you're going to get a quest point. When you have 3, you can pick a Demon Prince heroic upgrade for that hero without spending anything. If the roll, however, for the Eye of the Gods table that the guy rolled was a 2, 3, 11, or 12, the quest is over and whatever you've built up to that point is gone. You take it out of your thing. So again, chaos, pure and simple. Next quest is Reap the Spoils, a lot simpler. 1 quest point for a minor victory, 2 quest points for a major victory. In addition, at the end of each Path to Glory, you can spend a glory point to gain a quest point. When you complete the quest, you make 1 additional exploration roll for exploring territories. However, when you do, the tens roll is considered to be a 6. So you're gonna get one of the cool territories. Period.
Yep. Yeah.
And then here's another one that's just bonkers good. which you're going to chase more often than not. It's the quest to seek out an ensorcelled banner. Now, the ensorcelled banners are kind of new in this book.
Yeah.
And they are the very cool expanded banners that used to be in Chaos, but now they also function more like beefed up prayers. So,
yeah, that are constantly on, but it takes an enhancement.
Yes. So it's kind of like artifact banner, artifact. I don't know. But now here's a good way to get one. You pick one ensorcelled banner that is not on your Path to Glory roster. You write it down in the quest reward section. Gee, it could be like a mount trait. Exactly like a mount trait.
Yep.
At the end of each Path to Glory, add one quest point to the progress section for each friendly unit wholly within your opponent's territory.
Yep.
At the end of each Path to Glory battle, you can spend 1 point to gain 1 quest point. Once you have 3 or more, you add the ensorcelled banner to your vault, basically. Nice, easy, themey way to get an ensorcelled banner.
Definitely.
And give you the flexibility to choose at the beginning of the game. Last one is quest Drive Them Back. At the end of Path to Glory battle, you complete this quest if you won a major victory and your opponent's general had the order keyword. Okay? Wonder what that means.
What?
Yeah. So
Chaos versus Order.
I got to fight those daughters. Oh, no. When you complete this quest, each unit in your army that was not destroyed earns 1 bonus renown point. In addition, add 1 to your warlord's favor. So this is the one that you'll use when you're not focusing on one of the other 3. You'll just have that one going just because it's, free points.
And you're trying to fish for those trip 6s and all that.
Sure. Yeah, it's really super nice, super easy. Gonna run around and do heroic upgrades. They are pretty much exactly what you would expect. A Chaos Lord can be morphed into a Chaos Lord on Karadrak or Karkadrak, a Chaos Lord on a Demonic Mount, or a Chaos Lord on Manticore for different numbers of renown and glory points. An Exalted Hero of Chaos can be promoted to a Chaos Lord, so you have a real path to follow with those guys.
A Path to Glory.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
What?
A Chaos Sorcerer Lord can become a Chaos Sorcerer Lord on Manticore. Go figure. And then, of course, the Slaves to Darkness Demon Prince. There's a whole section of the rules on how to add a Demon Prince to your army. Not going to go over it. Just let it be known that you're not just going to do it.
Yeah.
It's going to take some work. In order to pick this heroic upgrade, the hero must have completed the Path to Glory quest. As long as this is the case, you can pick a hero and upgrade them to a Slaves of Darkness. So basically, you have to do the Glory of Chaos in order to complete the Glory of Chaos in order to even think about getting a Demon Prince.
Gotcha.
So Slaves to Darkness veteran abilities, not going to cover each one of these, but they do exactly what you think they're going to do. And they're also broken out by Slanesh only, Nurgle only, Tzeentch only, Khorne only. The only 2 that are just pure Slaves to Darkness is going to be Countless Recruits. So you can take this on Cultists and Chaos Marauders. They use the veteran ability once per battle in the hero phase. They return D6 slain models to the unit. Thank you. And then, of course, Favorite of the Gods. Yes. Once per battle, unit can issue one of the following commands to itself without command point being spent as if it has the correct mark of chaos. Keyword. And then it goes into the different, it's either going to be slay worthy foes, let the blood flow, warp reality, or bestow the contagion or close in for the kill.
Gotcha.
So you're going to be able to just basically take your unit and do the command ability without having to have anybody nearby. So after that, the territories that you can earn on a 61, it's the Chaos Wastes. You can only have 1 territory, cannot be upgraded. Increase allied units on your order of battle by 2.
Okay.
Yeah. However, any allied units you include in your order of battle because of this territory have to be demons. So, okay. They were Chaos Wastes for a reason. Number 62 is the Chaos Monolith, which we went back to earlier. You can only control 1 territory of this type at a time. Cannot be upgraded. In step 3 of the Aftermath sequence, you can re-roll the dice that determines how many renown points the unit picked to be your favored warrior gains. So,
okay.
Nice one to have in case you have a habit of rolling bad on those favored unit rolls. You have the Chaos Dreadhold, near and dear to my heart. Territory has no effect until it's upgraded. For 5 glory, you can upgrade it to a Raised Dreadhold. Each time you upgrade a territory or your stronghold, reduce the glory point cost by D6 to a minimum of 0.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I like that.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So if it was only a $5, you could potentially pay nothing.
Okay.
I like it. So 64 is the War Pit. In step 3 of the Aftermath sequence, you could pick one unit on your order battle that was not included in your army. This one's pretty similar to everybody else's. You go out and you get a renown point. If you don't do well, you're going to get a casualty roll. And if you upgrade it to a Notorious Arena for 10 glory points, you can send 2 units instead of 1. Caveat there being that unit cannot have taken part in the last battle.
Just like the Ogors.
Yeah. It's like, I think every one of these, every Path to Glory has something like that. 65 is the Unholy Sight. Each time the unit rolls on the Eye of the Gods table, it gains 1 renown point.
Oh my God.
So when you're doing the you're getting more sauce. If you upgrade this for 30 glory points, it becomes an altar to the gods. When you upgrade the territory, choose for it to be marked Undivided, Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, or Slanesh.
Okay.
In middle and higher tier battles, after deployment, you can pick one friendly Eye of the Gods hero with the Mark of Chaos that matches this territory and just flat out roll on the Eye of the Gods table to them at the beginning of the game. You could literally start out with a spawn or a new Demon Prince or, just without ever having to kill anybody.
So
I want one of those.
here's my pro tip right now. And this is something people have been joking about as meme lists for competitive lists, but like for Path to Glory, just get a whole bunch of exalted guys of chaos, right?
Yeah.
Exalted champions of chaos, and then just spam Eye of the Gods. Because you're either going to have a bunch of spawn, which are probably about as good, or you're going to have a bunch of demon princes, and you better have a bunch of models. But I think it's going to be hilarious.
Could be a very expensive army to run.
Yeah.
Okay, and last but not least, on a 66, you get a Realm Gate. Only one of this. No effect till upgraded. Once you've conquered this territory, you can fight Path to Glory battles using the Ritual Corruption battle plan. I know I said that they weren't tied to it, but they were, and I was wrong. Now, when setting up the what you get for the Realm Gate is when setting up terrain in a Path to Glory battle against another Path to Glory army. If you can set up faction terrain, you can instead set up one Baleful Realm Gate terrain feature wholly within your territory. At the end of each of your movement phases, roll 2d6. On an 8+, you can add unit, and I'm not going to go over the list of units, but basically it's a Realm Gate that's going up, and you're just pulling in free units. Set up units anywhere on the battlefield within 6 of the Realm Gate, 9 from all enemy units. So you can bring in Bloodletters, Horrors of Tzeentch, Plague Bearers, Demonettes, or Furies.
Oh, God, that's amazing.
Yeah. So on a 66...
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts.
Can you just imagine that, like, thematically, like, your army's marching forward and, like, the whatever Chaos Lord, like, raises his hand, this freaking Realm Gate just opens up and demons start flooding through.
Spewing out. And, it really calls back to, like, some of the original Stormcast novels where it's like Gardas is running around going, where the hell are all these coming from? And then he sees the stuff just pouring out of the Realm Gate and he's like, we can't win here. And I mean, you're gonna see that feeling on the battlefield.
Oh yeah.
So takes a little bit to get there, but super thematic and cool. And I like it. I honestly really like the idea of the Slaves to Darkness book. It's really well executed, and I really like the Path to Glory for what it gives us.
Yeah.
In terms of, it's very chaotic.
Yes.
And it represents that army, and you can't just pick and choose. You can't cherry pick what rewards you want from this Path to Glory. It's chaos. All right, so to summarize, I gotta say the Slaves to Darkness book is really good.
Yes.
It is a much needed cleanup of the old book that you had to have, not only that book, but you had to have Everchosen. You had to have so many different sources in order to find all your stuff. Now it's all in one book. The marks are so much easier to use now, and you are no longer limited to Archeon Varangard and some flavor unit. So super big. Love that book. And gotta say, the Path to Glory is so chaotic that if you're really a chaos player at heart, it's gonna just be perfect for you. It's off the rails. You don't know what you're gonna get, and when you do get spawned or when you do get apotheosis, it's going to be fun. Either way, it's going to be, yeah, I know getting a spawn out of your hero is going to really be bad, but you're still going to have fun with it. So really good. I put this Path to Glory in the top 5, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment for sure. I really like what I've seen the slaves do. I mean, aside from the little like day 0 FAQ they got, that was raw.
Oh.
But it looks fun. It looks exciting and dynamic, like the things that you want to be doing in Chaos. And certainly Slaves of Darkness has developed to a point where it actually makes sense as a book now. Because before it was just sort of like, I guess we'll slap it together and associate weird abilities with different things. This actually makes sense.
Yeah.
In terms of what we know in the lore about these different gods. It's a very flavorful book with some very impactful and powerful things in it if you want to play competitively. And the Mawtribes, man, I mean, it just makes me hungry for more.
I saw what you did there.
You did?
I did.
Yeah, right? Well, the audience eats it up. Ooh, man. Someone stop me. But it's what you expect from Mawtribes, what you want from Mawtribes, which is I'm going to push big dudes across the table, smash stuff, eat stuff, and do it all over again. Like they play basic Warhammer about as well as anyone else does.
Yeah, they're, Iron Jaws. They're you don't have to question what they might be planning because they're just going to run up and kill things.
Yeah.
And I truly love the Beast Claw Raiders, and I'm so glad that they now have the tools to actually be a really effective, fun army on the table.
Yeah.
So
now I'm excited for seeing what comes of this, and hopefully, I think at the local Warhammer shop, we're going to have an AOS event pretty soon, so I'm going to be bringing the fatties in. Hopefully I'll have a clown unit painted by then.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. But I'm pretty excited. I put Ogor Mawtribes was up there for me, particularly how it works with the Tyrant.
Yeah.
That's just such another flavorful thing you can do. I mean, it's not the really cool Fire Slayer mini game, but it's certainly something that I think is fun because it gives you distinct and measurable and attainable goals that you can do pretty quickly. All in all, great couple sets of Path to Glory. Glad for the additions. Certainly, there's nothing that's going overboard right now.
That is true. Gotta love them. So I guess with that, we wrap this show up.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a little spice in your life, well then you're just going to have to join us after dark.
If you would like to get in touch with us, you can reach us at our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. Our Patreon page is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, again, all one word. The Twitter account for the show is at rolling_bad. Our individual Twitters are, for me, at Bill Castello, BILLCASTELLO. And for Josh, you can reach him at Anoyo, ANOYOE. All the guests on the show will have their contact information in that show's show notes. The music in the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com and is used under the Creative Commons license. The Rolling Bad podcast itself is protected under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. Information for this license can be found at creativecommons.org.